Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It is an immense honor and true privilege to stand before you at this distinguished occasion to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Real Center of Cambridge University. As a professor at Addis Ababa University and someone who had a profound pleasure of collaborating closely with the Real Center, I offer warmest congratulations on this significant milestone. 10 years is not merely a passage of time. It is a testimony to dedication, foresight, and unwavering commitment to understanding and improving education system globally. Looking back over the past decade, and particularly over the 6 years of our direct partnership through research on improving systems of education, or in short, RISE Ethiopia program, I am filled with a deep sense of pride and gratitude for what we have collectively achieved. Our collaboration, bringing together Addis Ababa University, policy study institutes in Ethiopia, and Real Center has been a beacon of impactful research, consistently striving to illuminate the complex landscape of education reform in Ethiopia. Our journey with RISE Ethiopia has been inextricably linked to the General Quality Improvement Program, or GEQIP-E, a monumental national education reform efforts in Ethiopia. When we embarked on this ambitious endeavor, we knew that understanding the effectiveness of such large-scale initiative requires more than just a superficial glance. It demanded a rigorous, nuanced, and equity-focused approach. It is precisely here that Real Center's influence and partnership has been truly transformative. Before delving into the specifics of our joint achievements, I want to acknowledge the crucial role played by Professor Pauline and Professor Ricardo and by our donor partners, including FCDO and the World Bank. Their belief in our vision, their financial support, and their commitment to evidence-informed policy have been indispensable in making our research possible. This is truly an example of how collaborative efforts spanning institutions and geographies can lead to a meaningful change. Under the umbrella of RISE Ethiopia, we have undertaken critical research that has shed light on some of the most pressing challenges facing our education system. One area that immediately comes to mind, starting the reminder of vulnerabilities in our world, is profound impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the quality of education. With vital funding from the Melinda Gates Foundation, our team meticulously investigated how the pandemic, with its unprecedented school closure and disruptions, adversely affecting learning outcome. The findings were sobering. Revealing how interrupted education not only stalled progress, but also exacerbated existing inequality with significant gaps emerging across income level and gender. Beyond academic learning, we have delved in the less visible but equally critical domain of socio-emotional skill. In collaboration with the exceptional scholars with whom I acknowledge and celebrate today, Professor Pauline Rose, and were conducted groundbreaking research demonstrating how COVID-19 significantly reduced the development of socio-emotional skills among children. The insight from this work, which highlights the importance of holistic child development, have been invaluable. I must pause here to express my profound appreciation for Professor Pauline. Their expertise, guidance, tireless dedication have been truly instrumental to the success of our collaborative endeavor. Their contribution have been nothing short of great, and their partnership has been incredibly fruitful. The core of Real Center and AAU partnership has been understanding the effectiveness of national education reform, moving beyond simple evaluation to provide a more comprehensive picture. And in this regard, our collaborative have delivered meaningful contributions in several key areas. First, And crucially, we move beyond the national average. Historically, efforts to gauge the success of national education reform often focus solely on average learning progress at national level. This approach, while providing some insights, often obscures the depth truth of inequity within the system. The Real Center's equity-oriented approach fundamentally shifted this paradigm. We begin reporting learning outcome disaggregated by gender, household wealth, rural-urban location, disabilities, and regional disparities. This meticulously breakdown has profoundly improved our understanding of whether and how national education reform has truly helped narrow achievement gap between advantaged and disadvantaged groups in Ethiopia. It has shown us where the reforms are succeeding, and more importantly, where they need to be strengthened to reach every child. Second, we championed the idea of going beyond summative evaluation. The Real Center introduced us the immense value of assessing reform of impact alongside the implementation, not just at the end. They demonstrate that providing the policymaker with timely, real-time evidence can crucially inform and shape the ongoing implementation of national reform. This was vividly illustrated during the COVID-19 pandemic and subsequent regional conflicts. When schools closed, the RISE Ethiopia team acted swiftly and conducted phone survey with school principals and teachers from diverse locations across several regional states and Addis Ababa. The evidence we gathered provided immediate insight into the challenges schools faced and directly informing policy responses, and highlights the urgent need for targeted intervention to mitigate the negative impacts of interrupted education. Thirdly, our collaboration has been instrumental in incorporating local voice into the design of national education reform. In Ethiopia, general education system, it was not common practice to deeply question how national education reform was designed. The focus was traditionally on evaluating their impact on student learning after implementation. Through RISE Ethiopia, we have significantly improved understanding our education stakeholder, including our donor partner, about the paramount importance of engaging local actors in the design phase. Our research has consistently highlighted to policymakers the critical need of early and continuous consulting during the design process, emphasizing that this faster, stronger local ownership and support during implementation. The emphasis on local voice leads me to a very recent and significant piece of work that builds on this foundation. Our assessment of stakeholder involvement in the design of Ethiopia's education transformation program. As you know, Ethiopia government launched the ambitious Ethiopian education transformation program for 2024 up to 2029, a national reform agenda aimed at improving learning outcome for all children. Our recent study conducted by David, Belay, Nardos, myself, and esteemed colleagues, Professor Pauline and Professor Ricardo, delved into the level of involvement of the federal, regional, and donor in this critical design process. Our findings from this research reveal a complex but largely positive picture. The Ministry of Education demonstrates strong leadership and participatory approach, actively involving internal departments and regional education bureau. Many regional education bureaus reported strong awareness and active engagement, utilizing a structured bottom-up consultation that even included inputs from schools, Warada offices, university scholars, and community members. This is a significant step forward, signifying a shift towards more inclusive design that truly consider regional priorities like teacher capacity development, pre-primary education, school infrastructure, and even vital school feeding programs. However, our assessment also highlights areas of improvement. While awareness among regional and federal stakeholders was very high, involvement at Warada level was inconsistent, particularly in regions affected by conflict like Tigray and Amhara. This inconsistency poses a challenge. Warada Education Office are key intermediaries for implementation. Furthermore, Even when Warada was involved in identifying priorities, they were largely excluded from discussion about the design of specific intervention. This could lead to a disconnect between design and implementation at the school level, potentially hindering the transformation of Ethiopian education transformation program priorities into practice action in classrooms. Our research therefore underscores the critical need for continuous communication, capacity building, and targeting strategies to deepen understanding and ownership among Warada and school level stakeholders. The success of EETP hinges on the engagement of every actor in the system. Fourth, we have been instrumental in bringing foundational numeracy and literacy to the forefront of policy attention. Our collaboration with RISE Center extensively focused on pre-primary and primary education, recognizing these early years as an indispensable foundation for lifelong learning. We generated extensive evidence demonstrating that early investment in primary school education plays a vital role in addressing the learning crisis by equipping children with the basic skills they need to succeed in later schooling. This dedicated work has contributed to a notable policy shift in Ethiopia. Foundational learning is now placed at the very center of the new education reform program, signaling a critical and strategic shift in policy priorities towards achieving long-term sustained learning outcome. Finally, the RISE Center has been at the forefront of advocating for equity and intersectionality across sub-Saharan Africa, and certainly within our work in Ethiopia, they have championed the critical need to address intersecting dimensions of this group left behind. Through our research, through our RISE Ethiopia research, we have engaged federal and regional government educational officials in vital discussion about the importance of recognizing and responding to multiple overlapping disadvantages faced by marginalized learners. For instance, girls from rural area and low-income households. We consistently communicated in various local dissemination events that addressing only one dimension of disadvantage, such as gender or poverty in isolation, is simply insufficient because it overlooks how these factors reinforce each other. Our collaboration has been instrumental in promoting intersectional approach in the design and implementation of national education reform, helping to embed more inclusive framework in our policy discussions. Through the ELP project, we embark on a rigorous research journey to understand the landscape of early learning in Ethiopia. A key output of this endeavor was that development and refinement of specialized tool for evaluating early learning, the model development and early learning, and many of early learning environment. These tools were not just theoretical construct, they were meticulously developed and field tested in the Ethiopian context, ensuring their cultural relevance and practical utility. This process allowed us to generate robust evidence on the quality of early learning environment and the readiness of children entering primary schools. The true impact of our ELP work culminates in the successful handover of this validated tool to the Ministry of Education. We are incredibly proud to report that the ministry has now adopted and actively utilizing the model and MELI as national instrument for assessing early learning across the country. This adoption signifies a critical step in strengthening the foundational learning ecosystem in Ethiopia, enabling the ministry to identify areas of strengths and areas needing improvement, ultimately supporting more children to succeed in their educational journey and significantly contributing to reducing grade 1 dropout rates. It is a privilege to address you today at the RISE Center, a place synonymous with rigorous inquiry and transformative impact in education. Our work, particularly in Africa, stands a testimony to the power of dedicated research. Through significant funding, a privilege we do not take lightly, we have been able to conduct pivotal projects like RISE Ethiopia Early Learning Partnership. And these are not just academic exercises, but they are deeply rooted and initiatives instrument in evaluating and enhancing education across Ethiopia. Our team worked tirelessly, generating invaluable insights into the intricate challenge and immediate immense opportunities within Ethiopia's education system. Critically, our findings have not gathered dust on shelf. They have directly informed policy adjustment and refined educational practice, ultimately benefiting countless children whose lives are being shaped by this advancement. A deeper crisis now threatens the very foundation of research in developing countries. A recent drastic reduction in international aid, most notably the widespread cut by USAID, and substantial funding reduction by UK's FCDO, has severely curtailed research activities, particularly in the education sector. I wanted to be unequivocal. This is not merely a temporary setback, but it is an urgent and profound crisis with far-reaching consequences. The progress we have painstakingly achieved is now at a genuine risk of reversal. The impact of diminishing funding is not theoretical, but it is tangible and immediate. Promoting research initiatives that were on the cusp of delivering groundbreaking insight are now stalled, unable to continue due to financial constraints. Future research, essentially to inform policy, advanced development, and addressing the most pressing global challenge, is being suffocated before it even begins. The ramifications are especially severe in Africa, where local funding mechanisms remain precarious and making external support indispensable for sustained rigorous academic inquiry. Now, more than ever, we must act. This moment demands unwavering commitment from all stakeholders, researchers, policymakers, funders, and advocates to forego new pathways for sustaining research. We must explore innovative funding, cultivate strategic partnership, and champion value of sustained investment and knowledge creation. This is not merely about preserving past achievement. It is about ensuring that research continues to drive meaningful, enduring change. Without decisive action, the ripple effects of this funding cut will be felt for our generation. We must not allow moments of progress to falter. Instead, we must mobilize our collective expertise, resource, and influence to safeguard futures of research and uphold its vital role in shaping a more equitable and informed world. The urgency of our research is manifested by devastating impact of conflict, a stark and relentless reality in Ethiopia and its neighboring country. The statistics are heartbreaking. In Ethiopia alone, millions of children are out of school, most accurately in Amhara and Tigray, with significant disruption also in part of Western Oromia. This represents not just a temporary setback, but catastrophic reveal of hard-won progress we had achieved in expanding education access. The ramifications of conflict on education are far-reaching and profound destructive. It does not merely interrupt schooling, it dismantles entire learning environment, uproots families, and fractures commitment, and erects formidable barriers to acting in any form of quality education. This crisis is not a distant possibility, it is unfolding before us, demanding immediate and decisive action. Our foremost responsibility must be to restoration of educational opportunities for these children, accompanied by concerted effort to build what has been tragically lost. Our unwavering commitment to support education in conflict affects area not only acts of charity, but it is an absolute necessity for future of this young mind and broader stability and development of affected nations. Investing in education during times of crisis is far more than providing lessons. It is about offering a vital anchor of stability, instilling hope where despair threatens to take hold, and charting a tangible path towards a brighter future. It is lifeline and opportunity for children trapping in chaos of conflict to reclaim their right to learn, grow, and thrive. This is not an issue confined to a specific region. It is a collaborative challenge that demands a global response. Education must steadfast beacon of resilience, illuminate a way towards recovery, renewal, and lasting peace. Now, more than ever, we must ensure that no child is left behind. In sum, over the past 6 years, with the context of Real Center's 10 years journey, we have accomplished several truly remarkable, and our collaboration has demonstrated immense power of integrating local expertise with international research experience to produce timely, relevant, and highly impactful policy evidence. This synergy has not only enriched the local discourse on education, but also played a pivotal role in shaping strategies tailored to Ethiopian specific education needs. Most importantly, this partnership has significantly strengthened the evidence for designing national education reform that are both equitable and genuinely responsive to diverse needs of learners across Ethiopia. By leveraging rigorous research and contextual insights, we have contributed to policies that prioritize inclusive access and long-term sustainability of education achievement. As we celebrate a decade of progress of Real Center, I eagerly anticipate the next chapter of our collaboration. There remains much more to explore, much to refine, much to build on. Through our continued joint efforts, we will deepen our understanding of the challenge and opportunities that lie ahead and ensure that evidence-driven solution remains the heart of the policy decisions. Together, we can further strengthen the education system, making them more resilient, equitable, and effective for all children, particularly those in underserved communities. The journey thus far has been inspiring, but the road ahead is even more promising. With unwavering commitment and collective expertise, we will drive meaningful and lasting changes in education. Thank you for listening.